Hello and welcome to Defending India. This is a new vlog. It's a vlog that looks at national security issues, key technologies, strategy as well, and all the issues which make India's security so critical for our interests. I'm Vishnu Som. This is the very first episode of what I promise will be a continuing series. First up, let's talk about a new weapon system. It's called SMART. Now, India's SMART weapon system, or Supersonic Missile Assisted Release of Torpedo, is a next-generation missile-based lightweight torpedo delivery system. It's been designed and developed by the DRDO, that's the Defense Research and Development Organization. It enhances anti-submarine warfare capabilities of the Indian Navy. The system is unique because it significantly extends the range of anti-submarine warfare operations beyond the conventional range of torpedoes. The SMART system consists of a two-stage solid propulsion system, an electromechanical actuator system, and a precision inertial navigation system to accurately hit targets. It can launch a lightweight torpedo from a ground launcher employing various advanced mechanisms such as ejection and velocity control. Its development is a huge step towards strengthening the Indian Navy's capabilities as it enables the engagement of enemy submarines at extended ranges. Let's now shift horizons to the Indian Navy now in the South China Sea. Talking about naval weapon systems, India now has warships in the South China Sea. The ships Delhi, Shakti and Kiltan arrived in Singapore earlier in the week. A warm welcome by personnel of the Republic of Singapore Navy. It's part of the Indian Navy's operational deployment to the South China Sea. The deployment is part of a strategy to expand India's security ties with friendly countries and to participate in joint exercises aimed at ensuring good order in the maritime domain. There's a guided missile destroyer, a guided missile frigate, and a fleet tanker. Now, in the past, various ships of the Indian Navy have participated in exercises in the South China Sea and beyond, including the Malabar 2021 naval exercises with the US, Japan, Australia, and also bilateral exercises in the South China Seas with partner nations. The latest deployment is seen as a sign of India's intent to play a bigger role, a regional role, to ensure that international law and principles such as freedom of navigation and peaceful resolution of disputes are upheld. Next up, China's active interest in India's area of interest. It's connected in a sense to what we are saying. All of this, the Indian deployment, comes at a time when China is deploying warships in the Indian Ocean. Over the past year, there have been several instances of Chinese naval activities in the region. In May last year, Chinese warships were spotted in the Western Indian Ocean. In October, a Type 039 submarine and its accompanying support ships were tracked by the Indian Navy in the Indian Ocean. All of this showcased Beijing's capability to deploy naval assets far away. China has maintained a near permanent presence in two Chinese warships at a strategically important naval base in Cambodia. They've also got a naval base in Djibouti in the Indian Ocean. This is to enhance their influence and presence in the region, which is of significant concern to India and nations like the US. China and the Maldives now have really stepped up their military ties. It's significant at a time when the foreign minister of the Maldives has been here in India. The Maldives-China Defense Agreement of March is a major development in the geopolitical landscape of the region. It's described as a military assistance deal. It was signed by the Maldivian government and the Chinese government, aimed at fostering stronger bilateral ties between the two nations. Under the agreement, China will provide military assistance to Maldives free, without payment, nothing at all. The specifics of the assistance are undisclosed, but it's part of a broader strategy by the Maldivian government to enhance its defense capabilities and strengthen its military presence in the region. The agreement comes in the context of a shift in the Maldives' foreign policy, with the country moving away from India, its traditional ally, to closer ties with Beijing. President Mohammad Murza in 2023 campaigned on a platform of removing Indian military personnel from the Maldives. That has happened just now. The Defense Cooperation Agreement also coincides with a broader pattern of China's growing influence in the Indian Ocean. As we mentioned, it raises concerns about Beijing's strategic interests and the potential for increased militarization. The agreement has met with mixed reactions, with some observers viewing it as a strategic move by the Maldives to assert their sovereignty, while others see it as a reflection of China's expanding geopolitical ambitions and a potential source of regional instability. China has also been deploying ships in the Indian Ocean. They call them research ships, increasingly active, raising concerns about their intentions and potential implications for regional security. The Yuanwang 3, a Chinese research or survey vessel, is one among many tracked in the Indian Ocean. This activity is part of a broader pattern of increased Chinese presence, with reports indicating an uptick in the deployment of these research vessels in the Indian Ocean region. Some would suggest that the 12 to 15 ships, many of them are essentially spying in these waters. They are equipped with advanced technology for oceanographic research, hydrographic capabilities as well, survey capabilities. They've been observed to include mapping of seabed and recording various parameters and metrics across the Indian Ocean. This could ultimately enable submarine operations. That's something that India doesn't want, many more Chinese submarines in these waters. The Chinese government maintains that these ships are for research purposes, but the growing presence and the nature of the data collected have raised alarm in countries like India, which view these activities with suspicion because of their potential military implications. The Indian Ocean is strategically important for India, and the presence of Chinese vessels close to our waters is a cause of concern. Now, these activities align with China's broader strategic ambitions in the Indian Ocean region. Their far seas projection and strategic protection activities. The close observation and tracking of these vessels by the Indian Navy and other navies in the Indian Ocean is likely to continue as China evolves. Let's now talk about a new weapon system for the Indian Air Force. It's called the Rampage. Now, warfare around the world is changing. A new generation of precision weaponry has started entering our armed forces. What you see is the Israeli Rampage missile, an air-to-surface missile developed by Israel. It's designed to engage and neutralize heavily fortified targets such as communications hubs, command centers, air bases, maintenance facilities. It has a precision strike capability. It ensures accurate and targeted destruction. It has a user-friendly operation with a fire-and-forget mechanism. It's notable for its precision, as I mentioned. It reduces the likelihood of unintended damage. It supports video transmission as well, so you can actually see the weapon strike its target. There's wireless communication with the launch aircraft to ensure seamless connectivity. It's capable of hitting targets at a range of up to 250 kilometers. It travels at the speed of Mach 1.6 times the speed of sound. Terrorism, a constant threat in Kashmir. There's been a big breakthrough with the National Investigating Agency's most wanted terrorists and an LET commander taken out on Wednesday in Kashmir's Kulgam district. 3 terrorists were killed in the gunfight which broke out in the Redwani Payin area of Kulgam after security forces launched a search operation. Basit Ahmed Dar, a resident of Redwani, was also the commander of the Lashkar and its offshoot, the Resistant Front. It was involved in the killing of civilians and security personnel. Apart from Dar, 2 Lashkar terrorists have also been identified and taken out. It is a big achievement, is what the police say. Security forces have intensified search operations in the Union Territory days after an Indian Air Force corporal, in fact, was killed and 4 others injured when their convoy was targeted in Poonch on the 4th of May. CCTV footage shows 3 terrorists believed to be involved in the attack were released earlier on. The footage was released. The 3 have been identified as a former Pakistani Army commando, a terrorist called Hadoon, and Abu Hamza, a commander in the Lashkar-e-Toiba. We rarely talk about the road to national security. Quite literally, let's talk about the Border Roads Organization celebrating its 65th raising anniversary. It started in 1960 with just 2 projects. Since then, it's become a vibrant organization with 18 projects operating in 11 states and union territories. It's the leading infrastructure agency dealing in high altitude and difficult snowbound areas. It executes construction at altitudes ranging between 9,000 and 19,000 feet in the northern and western frontiers. In over 6 decades, it's constructed more than 62,000 kilometers of roads, 1,000 plus bridges, 7 tunnels, 21 airfields in really difficult terrain, also in countries such as Bhutan, Myanmar, Afghanistan and Tajikistan. Therefore, it contributes to India's strategic objectives. In 2023-24, they've completed 125 infrastructure projects, 3,600 crores, including the Sela Tunnel in Arunachal Pradesh, which was dedicated to the nation by the Prime Minister. The Border Roads Organization will soon commence the construction of a 4-kilometer long Shinkunla Tunnel. Once completed, it will become the world's highest tunnel, surpassing one in China. The Border Roads Organization accomplished the completion of two significant airfield projects as well, Bagdogra and Barrackpore in Bengal. The foundation stone was laid by the Defence Minister. They're working on several other projects as well. We don't talk enough about the Border Roads Organization. They do yeoman service for India when one talks about the line of actual control and parts of the line of control, one facing China, one facing Pakistan. Roads are so important. We've not had strong infrastructure in the past. We now have better infrastructure now. This is Vishnu Som with this special feature, India's Defence. We'll be coming to you once a week with the top stories. Do stay tuned.